Hey guys, so today we're going to discuss something that is very close to home for me, and that is addiction. The reason why it's close to home for me is because I myself have suffered from addiction in the past. I used to be addicted to alcohol for a very long time, but by the grace of God, this year I was able to celebrate my 3 year sobriety, May 24th. It's been 3 years for me. So today, what I'm just going to discuss are the three things that I personally do just to conquer sobriety and to stay sober, not have to worry about any type of relapses. I have not had any relapses in the 3 years, thank God, and I don't plan on it either. But let's go ahead, let's jump right into it. So, the first thing that I did to overcome or conquer sobriety was I really had to sit down and ask myself, why am I drinking so much? Once I realized why I was drinking so much, that's when it really changed the game for me. And long story short, the reasons as to why I was drinking so much was I was overthinking, I had anxiety, and I was just depressed with my life at the time. So when I sat down and had those conversations and really delve deep into myself, that's when I said, okay, I need to really focus my energy on something else. Like, I can't keep using alcohol as a coping mechanism for these issues. I need to start doing something else to really help with that. And so that's when I decided, okay, let me try to figure out what it is that I have to do to cope with depression, anxiety, overthinking, other than drinking, which is going to lead me into my second reason as to why, or as to how I overcame addiction and started, getting sober. And that is my nephew. So my nephew at the time, he was a little shy of 1 years old, and my sister, she had asked me to babysit him, and I told her, of course, I would love to babysit him, definitely. And when she dropped him off, she left and she sent me a text and she said, "Hey, Nee, we love the fact that you want to watch Chunky Butt, that's what I call him. But we just don't want you drinking around him because, we don't want anything bad to happen." And I'm like, man, for me, I know it might sound selfish, I guess, or weird, I don't know. But to me, that just kind of like, it just clicked in my head. Hey, look, if you continue to drink, what if something bad does happen to your nephew and it's your fault? Then you're not going to be in your nephew's life anymore. That's exactly where my brain went to. When she sent me that text that night, this was I got to look up the date. I want to say it was in like April or like early May 2021. It was in that time frame. And like I said, it just clicked. Like, yeah, you have to be in your nephew's life. Simple. You have to be in your nephew's life. So after that, like, I just started sitting with my thoughts and just going, yeah, we're going to have to put a halt to this whole drinking thing. And at first, I just gradually, and I wasn't drinking how I was drinking prior to that. Like, I was like, just having a fewer bottles, I should say. But then May 24th, 2021, I would never forget it. I went to Kroger. I was in the wine section at Kroger, y'all. And I was about to buy my usual bottles of wine. When I'm gonna just call it like I see it, God told me, do not buy those bottles of wine. Instead, I want you to go over to the meat and seafood department and buy something else. So that's what I did. I went to the seafood department and I got myself a lobster tail. And then I went to the meat department and I got myself a ribeye steak. went back up to where the produce department was, and I got myself a red potato, and I got asparagus, a bunch of asparagus. And baby, that night, I had my own steak and lobster dinner by myself with my A1 sauce, no wine in sight. Seriously, like you would have been like, what? Yeah. So ever since that night, I have not touched a bottle of wine, and I don't plan on it, which is going to segue into the third thing that I'm going to do to remain sober. And that is, I am going to focus on what I currently have in my life. Right now, I have so much peace in my life. I can do whatever I want to do with my money. Instead, like back then, I felt like, it's so crazy. I felt like I was broke every single paycheck because I was spending it on wine. But when I look at it, I think about like where I was living at the time. I was living with family at the time. I should have never been in a position of, oh, I ain't got no money right now. But when you're addicted to something, especially something like alcohol, you just buy it. As soon as you get paid, it's like that's where your paycheck goes to. You pay bills and your paycheck goes to wine or whatever. Like if you're somebody that's addicted to alcohol, like I don't know if you're addicted to wine or whatever, but me personally, I was addicted to wine. But now that I'm sober, like I think of the fact that I have my own place. I have a beautiful car outside that gets me from point A to point B. And, like right now in my life, I am happy, I'm content, I am so grateful, because with the way that I was going, like I would have not been here if I did not stop doing what I was doing. So, that's just my personal story. Like that's just what I'm going to do to continue to remain sober, because I refuse to let anything or anyone take me back to that part of my life. And that's another thing. I stay away from toxic people. I stay away from toxic situations. If it has anything to do with drama, if it has anything to do with anything toxic, and if it has anything to do with something that is going to make me go or stoop to somebody else's level that's down here, I'm not doing it. I'm just not going to do it. Sorry. Well, I'm not sorry. I can't afford to do it anymore. So yeah, if, anybody out there is struggling with any type of addiction, and like this is a safe space, because I feel like I give grace to people who have addictions, or that I can see, okay, there's something else going on with that person. But what I'm going to do is I am going to drop below a link that my aunt, she's a counselor here in Virginia. She is a counselor for VCU, and she does work with, it's a mental health facility, and they do some work, and so she does that for them. She does the counseling for them. Well, she sent me this link the other day without even knowing that I was going to shoot this video today. So I was like, oh my gosh, this is perfect. So I'll just drop that link for anyone who feel the need that they, need to use it. So yeah, but I hope this video does help someone, that's currently struggling, that has been struggling, or that is still, that you are sober now, you are conquering your sobriety, but you still have those days where you're like, all right, I don't know, I hope this just hits home for somebody, and you can really see, all right, there is still a light at the end of the tunnel, and I will see y'all next time. Bye.